What's up, boys? It's Daniel from Daily Bodybuilding Tips. Today's tip is Daily Bodybuilding Tip number 6, and it's all about shoulders and why high reps actually work wonders when training the shoulders. But before I tell you this tip for today, let me just show you why I think you should listen to me and why I have credibility in this niche. So, if anyone already seen this, you could just skip right past it, but just in case anyone has not seen it yet, perhaps you're new to the channel, just pay attention real quick. This is my physique coming out of COVID. I didn't work out at all. I was extremely out of shape, and my mental health was tragic. Okay, I played Fortnite all day. And now on the left side is when I started to work out in about 2021. It's like 2021, 2022. Not an impressive physique whatsoever. Still had a skinny fat phase going on. As you could tell on the bottom right hand side, huge eye bags, out of shape, no appeal. And now fast forward 3 to 4 years, I've been training consistently as a bodybuilder, and these are my pictures of my physique. Right here, you can see the arm got bigger. We don't have these crazy eye bags anymore because the appeal increased. My health got a lot better, and my back also got a lot wider. So just to get that out of the way, this is why you should listen to me. But now let's begin with the daily bodybuilding tip number 6. It's all about shoulders. Specifically, we're going to be talking about why higher reps work so well for shoulder growth. Now, before I tell you why the high reps work so well for shoulder growth, we need to understand one thing about the fitness industry right now and some limiting beliefs you may have. The modern day training scam. What is the modern day training scam? The modern day training scam advocates for science-based lifting. Specifically, they advocate for low reps. They advocate for minimizing fatigue. And they advocate for maximizing how optimal your workout is. Low reps, by definition, work better for muscle hypertrophy. They cause less fatigue, meaning you could basically train the muscle more frequently, which is shown to increase the size. Because perhaps you may not know this yet, but the modern day fitness industry basically buzzes on this thing called frequency. So frequency is the amount of times you're actually hitting the muscle per week. So they advocate for about 2 to 3 times frequency. However, when you're training 2 to 3 times a muscle group a week, what you need typically are lower reps, or you need less fatigue, and overall, you need less volume. You need less volume because you're training the muscle so frequently that it needs to recover by the time you get to your next session. So that's the modern day fitness industry. They're all buzzing around science-based lifting. So now, why would I say that higher reps work so well for shoulder growth if evidently, literally backed up by the studies, lower reps work better? Why would I say that higher reps work better for shoulder growth? Well, the reason for this is all about muscle. So say muscle activation. You see, the problem with training low reps is, although it's more optimal, although by definition, by the books, by the studies, it would give more gains, the problem with training lower reps is that you're not actually activating the muscle all that efficiently. Because when you train low reps, and I mean especially for small muscle groups, so I'm talking like the biceps, the shoulders, not really the triceps. Triceps are fairly big, maybe like the forearms, etc., etc. It's hard to activate these muscles with such low weight. You see, the muscle is getting activated, but typically what happens is you get unnecessary joint movement in there. You're basically tearing down your joints with this heavy weight, and although some people are going to say it's going to make an adaptation, of course it's going to make an adaptation, but most people, they don't train with perfect form even when they're going heavy. There's going to be like a little bit of wiggle from their lower back, etc., that their joints over time, the longevity is decreasing, and they're not fully activating the muscle to the best of their ability. They're going heavy, and let's say you're doing shoulders, okay? Let's say you're training the side delt, so the side of your shoulder, what gives you the nice cap shoulder effect. What are you gonna do? Let's say you're doing lat raises. Now, when you go heavy on lat raises, the problem is you're gonna get a lot of your traps involved because you're gonna be shrugging the weight up on the way up, okay? Now, when you're getting the traps involved, we're bodybuilders. We're not weightlifters. This is bodybuilding tips. What we care mostly about is the stimulus. We care how our muscle is stimuli. We care how much stimulus the muscle is getting. Okay? We don't care about the weight. Get that out of your head. The weight doesn't matter. The contraction under the weight matters. You see, all these big bodybuilders, they don't train that heavy. They train in the 8 to 12, sometimes 12 to 15 rep range. And now, of course, you could get away with going lower reps, maybe something like legs. You go 6 reps on a heavy squat, barring that you don't have bad form, maybe 5 reps, okay? But this brings me to my point. Why high reps? Why high reps for shoulder growth? Well, the reason for that is just the muscle is so small. When you try training heavier on shoulders, you actually get this diminishing return because it actually goes something like this. As weight decreases, growth increases. Why? Because if you go super heavy, you're not getting a lot of growth. You're not getting a lot of growth because you're not actually activating the muscle to the best of its ability. Let's say like we're doing the shoulder raises, the lat raises. We're getting the traps involved now. And now when we're getting the traps involved, we're not giving the shoulders the adequate stimulus that they need. We're being weightlifters. We're not being bodybuilders. So that's why I think higher reps work so well for shoulder growth. You could go like 8 to 12 reps and honestly just feel the pump is just two different things. When you go up, hold for like 1 to 2 seconds and you go down like 4 seconds, you're fully using the muscle. You're pumping all of the carbs and the muscle glycogen, the water into the muscle. You're getting adequate stimulus because you're actually using the muscle. You're not using 5 muscles when you're just trying to train biceps. When you're training 5 biceps, for example, you're trying to go heavy on a bicep curl, you're moving your shoulder forward now. You're getting the front delt involved. You're getting the lat involved. You're getting everything but what you want is just the biceps. If you were to get anything from this channel, from Daily Bodybuilding Tips Advanced, remember that isolation is key as bodybuilders. We want to isolate the muscle. We don't want to be training 5 muscle groups and we're just trying to train the shoulders, which is exactly why higher reps work so well for shoulder growth. Okay? Now, before this video ends, let me just show you a really good training example. There's a guy on the internet, his name is Nick Walker. He does like training videos, he's a bodybuilder, he does open division, if you know what that is, if you follow with bodybuilding. And he trains the delts so well. He gets the stimulus and he's minimizing the outside mini muscles that are getting involved in the movement. He's only moving the weight with his shoulders, and that's why I think he is so big. So let me show you right here. You see this? Look, he goes down slowly, he pauses, goes up, holds it for a second, goes down slowly, he pauses, he doesn't jerk the weight right up when he comes down. He comes down, he gives it a little bit of a pause, and then he comes up. You see? And you see, look at his range of motion. He's going all the way up. That's something called a super range of motion lateral raise. You don't have to do it like that. You could stop at 90 degrees. But look, he's not shrugging. He's not tilting back. He's not tilting forward. He's just using the shoulders. And he's training in the high rep range. I know right now it looks like he's failing. He's not training in high rep range. The clip is longer. I'm pretty sure this set was about 15 reps. And guess what? He's getting the pump and he's getting the adequate stimulus. And that is why higher reps work so well for shoulder growth. Don't fall into the modern day training scam with low reps. Low reps can be good maybe on something like a squat, where you could push heavier, but remember, always form over weight. But even then, I'm yet to see somebody who trains in 3 reps shoulder raise and still gets huge shoulders, despite what the science says. Because then they're getting the traps involved, they're getting the rhomboids involved, they're getting all these exterior muscles that they weren't actually planning on doing. Because what they were planning on doing was a lateral raise. They weren't planning on doing a lateral trap rhomboid forearm raise. You understand? So just before this video ends, quick ad, top link in description, I've linked my advanced program. It's basically like this channel, but a lot more niche, and it's for advanced lifters who want to take their lifting to the next level. Thank you so much for watching, and this was daily bodybuilding tip number 6, why higher reps works so well for shoulder growth. Thank you.